The following program is being brought to you by the Farmhouse Cafe and Mind, Body, Spirit of Omaha.
They living in the millennium. Souls be looking for a healing and he's healing them. Filling some of them with his spirit.
My name is Robin Hesselgesser, and this is Hesselgesser on Purpose. Tonight's show is all about the contribution and the difference just one person can make with a lot of faith and a little bit of spaghetti. So join us when we come back. Welcome back to Hesselgesser on Purpose. I'd like to welcome our two guests this evening. We first have Lin Leahy. She is an executive chef. Welcome to the show, Lin. I'm thrilled to have you here. And Julie Johnson, thank you so much for being here. So Lin is the president, and Julie is the vice president of an organization called The Power of One.
We are the Power of One.
We are the Power of One. So tell me a little bit about We Are the Power of One and what you do.
We formed a nonprofit organization because we had an idea, this world's largest spaghetti feed ever.
Yeah.
And in order to become an association and solicit donors and basically maneuver in the community, you have to become a 501c3. Mm-hmm. And so it really forced us, just a bunch of regular Joes, to think of a name for ourselves and to think of the business end of it.
Yeah.
So we, in order to form our association, had to form officers and bylaws and things like that.
Yeah. So let's tell the story. In my opening, I said tonight's show is all about the contributions that just one person can make with a lot of faith and a little bit of spaghetti. So tell me a little bit. I mean, your story is just fascinating. So tell us a little bit about that, how this whole thing came to be, and a little bit about you. Don't be modest.
In a way, that's going to be a little difficult because our original goal was anonymity. We are just a bunch of regular people. We don't have the big last names and the power numbers behind us. We're just a bunch of regular Joes, as we always call ourselves. Yeah. And the original idea was anonymity. So in a way, this is difficult. We're having to break out of ourselves a little bit that way, and that's okay.
But the idea was the whole premise is no one should go hungry. No one in Omaha should go hungry. So your idea was to have the biggest spaghetti feed that you could put together.
I received a phone call one wintry night from my dear friend Lynn that says,
"This Lynn,
do you have a
this
moment?
friend,
this dear friend." And she says, "Do you have a moment?"
Now, of course, see, now we're going to get the real stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
Uh-huh.
And she said, do you ever have one of those nagging ideas that you just keep pushing back and pushing back and pushing back? She goes, I've had this idea for quite some time, and I would like us, as in Omaha, to become that small community we once were. And I have an idea. What if nobody in Omaha went hungry for one day? And I'm like, well, how are you going to do that? She proceeds to say, well, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Lynn is a cancer survivor.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, she has paid it forward by helping other families who have suffered with cancer. And so she puts on huge spaghetti feeds, very large spaghetti feeds to benefit these families. And as a result of that, this brainchild started, I think, culminating, and
started percolating.
Thought, hey, you know what? We can be bigger than this.
Yeah.
So she said, what if for one day nobody went hungry and we had a huge spaghetti feed?
Now you have to know, I'm calling her and I'm spilling this out as fast as I can because even in my own ears, it just sounds
A little crazy.
silly, a little crazy.
A little crazy.
We heard that a lot.
Given your title across your chef's jacket, I'm guessing that you make pretty damn good spaghetti.
Yeah, and I've been to her home many times to eat her experiments, and they're fantastic.
I bet they are.
But the bigger part of this is Lin has always volunteered for, I mean, we met back when we were volunteering for the Boy Scouts, when our young boys were very small. So she's community minded, and when you take an art that you have and a talent that you have as a chef, and you bake it into this larger idea, well then she reached out to this friend, and I reached out to this friend, and they reached out to this friend, and pretty soon we had a pretty good sized group that said, I think we can do this.
Yeah.
And then we were looking like 18 to 2 years out, and she said, oh, no. This year.
We're going to do this
We're
now.
going to do it in
Did I forget to
24.
mention
Yeah.
that in the conversation we had? I wanted to do it this year.
Yeah, so about a year ago, she decides it's going to be this year. So given that, we've really worked very hard to pull people in from all walks of life. Again, we all work regular jobs. This is something that we get together every Monday night to plan. And so when we talk about meeting frequently, at least once a week, and all of these sub-meetings happen throughout the remainder of the week.
A lot's happened.
So we have.
I have to tell the whole backstory though. Julie and I do go way back, and we do different things in the community. We have a strong tie in the community. The idea came, I ignored it as any sane individual would, and it came again. And the more I thought about it, I thought, well, you would need this or you would need that. And then I thought, wait a minute, we have this or we have that, or we can make this happen. And then I feel it was a little bit of divine intervention in that I was following one of the food trucks that said, feed the children. And I said, you know, we talk at my job or we talk at different places about stretching yourself. And you know, if you really set a goal and you really set your mind to it, generally you make it. And so I'm thinking about this. I'm following this Feed the Children truck, and an NPR story comes on about we actually have all the resources right now. We have them all. We really shouldn't ever have hunger. Obviously it's a money issue, who has it and who doesn't, and things like that. But as for people actually going hungry, it should never happen.
No excuse for it.
And I think, you know, I can't change the world. The world is the world. But what if for one day, we change the world for one day?
Absolutely.
We feed our community. And I thought about it. I have family in a small town. My cousin, he's a cattle rancher, but he has the backhoe. So he, excuse me, he digs all the cemetery plots for the local, because it's a community plot or a community graveyard, you know. And he's also the assistant football coach and the head wrestling coach, and he doesn't even have kids in the high school, and he's not a teacher. But it's a really small town, and that's what they do. They really look after one another.
They all pitch in and do what they need to do.
The wife runs the library one night a week, and you know, that's what they do. They really take care of one another. And I'm thinking, you know, maybe a little wistfully, gosh, it's a shame Omaha got too big. Wait a minute, are we really that big? Are we really that big? We're really just an overgrown cow town, excuse me for anyone I offend on that. But we really are a small town in our feel in many regards, especially for those of us that have grown up here our whole lives.
Our lifestyle and our values and the way we treat one another.
And we do take care of one another.
We do, absolutely.
And it just kind of grew from that, and the very seal of the deal as it is, I walked into one of our communities, and right on the wall, bold as day, it says, never underestimate the power of a small group of committed people to change the world, for indeed, that's all that has ever done that, or done it. I know I always mess up the last part. It's by Margaret Mead, and it was just powerful. I mean, it was just the whole moment coming together. So I started making the phone calls, and I started talking to people, and you know, it's these friends that I reached out to that are a part of this group. And we do have just a fun, eclectic mix of people in our group. That all said,
we do.
Very eclectic group of people.
You know, God has a tendency at first to put something in our soul, in our heart, and He might the first couple of times, make it a whisper, and then if you're not paying attention, it's a
2x4
baseball bat, and then if you're really not paying attention, it's a truck,
a wall in my case.
Exactly. So the event is next month. It's September.
September 21.
Okay, September 21. And where's it going to be? Now, I've heard rumors that this has become so big that there's an opportunity to break
World's
a
record.
Guinness World Record.
Well, when we were thinking about this is the thought process.
Okay.
Wouldn't it be great for one day in our town, right?
Yeah.
No one goes hungry. No one.
No one.
How do you get everybody
Not
involved?
one
How do you
soul.
get just everybody involved? How can you fire up everybody I know?
Yeah.
Let's make it fun.
Yeah.
Let's make
Yeah.
it really fun. Let's break a world's record.
Yeah.
Let's break a Guinness World Record.
Yeah.
So way back in the early days, I started writing Guinness, and now I just hound the heck out of them.
That's what you have to do. It's a squeaky
I'm gonna have
wheel,
to send
right?
a Christmas card to a couple of them.
Maybe a dinner might be.
It was spaghetti there. Yeah.
Spaghetti.
Yeah.
Well, then we won't have any leftovers, I don't think. But yeah, so we contacted Guinness, and we've got all the qualifications and what we need to do and the documentation that we need to do.
Yeah.
And so we're moving forward on breaking the world's record. And then we really thought about it and who really needs to benefit from this. We got in touch with the Food Bank for the Heartland. And you look at the statistics of how many people are food insecure. That's the term for not knowing where your next meal is coming from. It's staggering amounts. It's about 15% here in Omaha.
Is it really?
Well, in the Omaha metro area. And there's a lot of misconceptions about that. A huge number of them, 18% of that, is seniors. And they often have to decide, meds or food. We see the pictures of the kids, and we're all drawn to the kids, but the truth is, in our community, it's people, it's real people. 56% of them have jobs. These aren't people who aren't unemployed and just not choosing to do for their family. Mm-hmm. These are people that work, but they're just not making it. Mm-hmm. Of that, 40% – 42% I think are have secondary education, college or trades or something like that. I mean, these are people in our community. Mm-hmm. And it really hit home. We had a launch party to start our idea and to raise kind of some beginning funds for this. And in our audience, and we had an audience of about 150?
150 to 200.
Right in there. People there. 2 families, not 2 people, but 2 families that were there that night weren't going to have dinner because they couldn't afford it. And really, they couldn't afford dinner at their house either. So right here quietly among us and among our friends were 2 people, 2 families who needed help. And of course, we fed them that night, and I wouldn't disclose that any further than that. But I think, truthfully, it's so much more prevalent than we think. And we like to think that we're good people, and we like to think that we're in Omaha, Nebraska. This doesn't happen here, but it does, and it's big.
Well, one of the things I love about what you're doing is that, yes, it's a great cause, and yes, it's going to be a fun event, but it also really raises the awareness, and I love that about that, because then real change can come about. Once people are aware, once our community is aware, then that's when we can begin to change.
And if you think about how the food bank even works, they work in a consortium. So we've learned for every dollar that is collected, donated, accumulated through this process, produces 3 meals.
Is that right? For every dollar.
For every dollar. So if you think on September 21st, if we're able to raise $100,000, results in 300,000 meals. Mm-hmm. 300,000 meals right here in the Omaha metro area. And the facilities that we are going to launch this wonderful spaghetti feed in Omaha Public Schools, Lewis Central and Council Bluffs. We have Plattsmouth. We have the Bellevue Lead Center to represent. So as we
Westside, Ralston.
I mean, the list goes on and on. It's just the thought process was, what better place to feed families than in schools?
Right in your own neighborhood. And it has parking tables and chairs.
Yeah, there you go.
So on September
Met quite a few needs.
21st from 11 to 3, we will be feeding, hopefully, 20,000
Omaha
people.
and
20,000
surrounding communities.
of our closest friends.
That is amazing. So I am assuming that by the time this airs, we'll be pretty close to the event. So I'm assuming that you won't turn down help. I'm assuming you still need volunteers.
Yes, we do.
Absolutely. They need
And
to go to a
donations would be
website.
helpful. And what is your website?
We are thepowerofone.org.
Okay.
Of course, you run all that together, so it's wearethepowerofone.org.
Now, do people have to buy tickets, or how does that work?
No. Well, we started out.
Yes and no?
It was a yes and no. It started out, we were going to sell tickets, and so there's probably that idea floating about. But a buddy of mine who works for the state called and said, Lynn, you're going to have to file for sales tax, and you're going to have to pay sales tax. I said, oh. He said, look, this is the deal. If you're hoping to bring in $100,000, $7,500 are going to go to roads in Nebraska. Is that really where you want it to go? And I'm like, no, not really.
Yeah,
and he
probably
said,
not.
he goes, you're going to have to make everything free will donation. And we said, that's okay. That's really okay. Our whole idea was that people who couldn't afford, I mean, $5 didn't seem like a whole lot, but we were hoping for a real pay it forward mentality where, people come in and say, $5, oh, that's not too bad. Here's 20 more bucks. I'll pay for 4 other people. And we have a real, in the fishbowl with the tickets kind of, and if you need one, pull one out kind of thing. A real pay it forward mentality in our community, maybe just to show us how important this is, just to show our community how good we really are.
So can people donate right now
Oh.
via the website?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We have 2 different areas that I want to draw your attention to. The first one is donations, because obviously it's going to take some money for us to pay for all the facilities and everything that we've had to gather in order to produce these meals.
Absolutely.
So there is a opportunity for you to go to Donate Now, and you can donate, and it's via a PayPal, so it's all private, secure, and those things that we look for. We also have a sign-up, an automated sign-up mechanism that you can use, so you can go in and just sign up to volunteer. So it's very easy. We've given you locations, times, roles. Lynn has drawn out a full job description for each of the roles, and we have it lined up. We're just looking for volunteers for a couple of hours, and then pass the baton to the next person. But once I've been at her spaghetti feeds, and it's infectious. Once you're there, you don't want to leave because you're meeting all kinds of great people where everybody's having a great time.
It is fun to do.
It's fun.
Really fun.
And then at the end, you get the joy in your heart that look what you've just done.
Absolutely.
So it's 2 great opportunities. Volunteer. There's enough locations that you can find something for you to do. And there's certainly, if you're not able to come, if you could donate ahead of time, perfect. We will accept that as well, because again, we're a volunteer organization. No one is paid. 100% of the proceeds will go directly to the food bank.
Not too many places can say 100%.
No, and I'm just so proud of you both. Sign me up. I'll be there. I'm absolutely. So I'm just curious. So how much spaghetti are we talking? I mean,
Gosh.
She's calculated everything down to figure this out, right?
First of all, you have to know, we have a crew. I have a crew of people that I work with, and I have been just absolutely blessed with people who are brilliant in their field that come and help me, that have signed on board, have come to me in the strangest of ways, and like Julie, say, yep, sign me up. I want to be there. I want to be in on this. I mean, without batting an eye. Julie is our project manager. She keeps us all organized. I mean, she keeps us on task, where we're at, how we're flowing. But I also have people in food logistics. Jerry Lowndes, my boss that I work with, sits down and helps me, and we work through this together, but we've done this a lot, but we look at exactly how many servings we're going to need and how much it's going to cost and exactly where we're going to store it, that kind of thing. Yeah. So we've worked through a lot of that. Some things that you don't really expect maybe in this. When we first began, we of course had to form this association. Well, that costs money.
Fees.
Yeah, there were fees for that. The IRS wants money up front for that.
Go figure.
I know, really?
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But we landed on the brilliant idea of schools, and it was a member among us. It certainly wasn't my idea, but it was a great one to use these schools. So we went to the schools, and they said, yeah, that'd be great. The only problem is by Nebraska law, you have to pay for the building, a building engineer, and in the kitchen case, a food service manager. So now it's costing. And on top of that, you have to have insurance, which we knew. I mean, you know, we knew we'd have that.
Absolutely.
We had all of the food donated. As of the end of April, we had all of the food donated, and we're ecstatic about that. And so we were working through paper plates and forks and napkins and, you know, foil pans and all the things that you're going to, tongs, gloves, you know, sanitizer wipes, all the things that you need to actually do this correctly. And our person who was going to supply the beans fell through. So now we're looking at beans, and we still have some of those paper goods. We've got a lot donated. Green beans. Green beans.
Beans.
I'm a mom. She's a mom. It's a balanced dinner. You need your veggies.
So at first I thought, okay, are they going to put kidney beans?
No. Green beans.
Green beans.
If you think about it, it's a little easier than a salad. You don't have to mix a salad or have salad dressing. It's an easier plate up. It'll go a little faster. But we need to have, you know, our food groups covered.
Absolutely. Beans. What was I thinking? A green
beans.
vegetable.
Green beans.
See, I'm one of those people. Where's the garlic bread? I forget about the vegetables. Just goes
Well, that's kind of an on again, off again thing. We are hoping for donations for that, and we thought we had that secured, and that's kind of a gray area. I'm not as concerned about garlic bread because that's carbs on carbs, you know. But the green beans, I'm adamant about.
The chef and her, I'd like the garlic bread.
I
would like the garlic bread
totally
too.
With you though. You know, we gotta have the food groups represented.
That's
and
right.
Have some nutritional value thrown in there. And this is the time of year.
If I'm going to feed some people that are struggling, I'm going to feed them a good meal.
Yeah.
I want to take care of them right.
Absolutely.
No, it'll be fun. I mean, really, it'll be fun. It'll be very, very fun. And then, how many people? We go and we work like the farmers market. So we've been down in the old market or Exarban, and we hand out these save the date cards.
Yeah.
And people walk by, and I give this spiel like I'm on a soapbox. You know, I feel like the Music Man. You know, gonna do my little soliloquy there. But we start out talking about it, and people go, what? Well? Really? Yeah. And by the end of just handing them a card, they're like, really, we're going to do this? This is going to be a Guinness World Record? We're going to make sure everybody gets fed? Yeah, I can hardly wait. Okay, I got this. I'll put it on my fridge. And they walk away, and every time that happens, and it happens over and over and over again, and we work parades, and we've worked a few other things, we just have a blast doing it because it just becomes energy you kind of feed on.
We're also feeding, I mean, the schools themselves are getting behind the exercise now.
Yeah.
We have seen an overwhelming response that they're building activities and events around this event, so they can get their community involved and get people engaged and make it a school-owned opportunity as well. So it's not, what is amazing is one little ember has turned into a full blaze. And the more we talk with these schools about, well, you could do this and you could do this, and you know, this is the center stage, but if you want to do other things, we have string bands playing, we have book
signing
going, amazing things that are going to build upon this event. So again, it increases the opportunity for us to expand our community awareness of the schools and this opportunity. So again, what started as a very, very small idea has just amazingly blossomed, and we're thrilled that it's just about here.
Yeah.
For more reasons than I'm looking
We're nervous. We're nervous about it. We're nervous about it, but you know, we have a really good team, and the city just seems so behind it on so many aspects. Like Josie was saying, the schools have been fun, the kids have been fun. North High School, when they came on board, oh my gosh, the librarian, she's the media specialist there, her name is Harriet Marr. She called me or texted me or emailed me like every day most of spring. We're going to do a book signing. We're going to have an art fair. We're going to have our orchestra and symphony play in the auditorium in this show choir. And I mean, they've built such a thing around it. In Bellevue schools, you know, both East and West, Bellevue East and West are helping at the Bellevue Activity Center, and they've gotten behind it just amazing. It's just been fun. Yeah, they were our first one, and they were very fun. They were very, very
Local
fun.
organizations have come out and had us out to talk with them because they think it's such a worthwhile event. that they're bringing their organizations in to do volunteering, because it's going to take a little over 500, maybe
Well, about
even more than that.
700. We think it's
700
about
now 'cause
700.
We've expanded our schools.
Is that right?
So we need over 700 volunteers to make this happen.
Oh.
So you're cooking, you're serving, you're
Yeah.
cleaning, you're proceeding, you're taking
Yeah.
monies and donations.
And anybody can help. I mean,
Well,
we've
that
got
just gives you a perspective of how big it's going to be and
Yeah.
how many of us it is going to take
Yeah.
to pull this off.
It is.
Yeah.
It's going to take Omaha to be successful.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It really is.
Well-
and the whole metro area, really. You know, Bellevue and Plattsmouth has come on big, and Council Bluffs through Lewis Central has come on very big. And it's really great because they're all serviced by the Food Bank for the Heartland. I mean,
Absolutely.
their range is from western Iowa, like Sioux City, all the way down to Hamburg, all the way to the Colorado border, or very near to it. And you know, the number of people that they affect is amazing. When we first got involved in this, our company's distributor is Cashway, and they jumped behind it very big. The president of the company has been overwhelmingly helpful because he knows how much the food bank affects western Nebraska, particularly northern and western Nebraska.
Well, again, I'm just, please go out to the website and do all that you can to help. Donate your time, donate funds, ask questions, get people involved, spread the word, do whatever we have to do to make this thing happen. A side note for you, I would, the next time she calls you with an idea, I'd make sure that you have a glass of wine. And
Who knows, the next idea?
It's her turn.
maybe her.
We swap off a couple of times. There's a couple of times I'm following and she's leading, and that's
And,
just
you
fine
know,
by
we have a
me.
SharePoint, or we have a Twitter account, we have a Facebook account, we have a website, so any media that you're comfortable using, I think we have covered.
thank you. I want to thank you both for being here tonight.
Oh, thanks for having us. It's been very
appreciate it.
fun.
Oh, I'm so glad. You know, sometimes we get a little bit wrapped up in, at least if you're like me, we spend a lot of our time worrying about things, and we try to solve problems, some that maybe can't even be fixed. And all the while, we're trying to stay in control. And what I've learned is actually the opposite is the thing to do. You have to have faith, and you have to trust, and you have to believe that everything will work out just fine. And, you know, I'm not saying that we don't need innovation. They're a good example of that. Or we don't need to plan, or that we don't need to be taking initiative. But I think we need to spend less time on paying attention to the outcome and more time really investing in why we're doing something and believing that it will all turn out just the way it's supposed to. So remember that you can make a difference. Just one person can make a huge difference. My name is Robin Hesselgesser, and I'm reminding you to live your life on purpose.
In my mind, I gotta realize I'm one heartbeat from eternity. I prefer to be stretched out at my Savior's feet because my spirit is willing, but my body's weak.
This program has been brought to you by the Farmhouse Cafe and Mind, Body, Spirit of Omaha.